محمد وعلى آل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد. روي عن فاطمة الزهراء عليه السلام بنت رسول الله قال سمعت فاطمة أن خالها دخل عليها أبي رسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال السلام عليك يا فاطمة فقلت عليك السلام. قال إني أجد في بدني ضعفا فقلت له أريدك بالله يا عبداه من الضعف. فقال يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به. فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به وصرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلف كأن البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. وما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولد الحسن قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أماه وقلت عليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله. فقلت نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء. فأقبل حسن نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء. وقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي قد أذنت لك. فدخل معه تحت الكساء وما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أماه فقلت عليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله. وقلت نعم إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء. فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه السلام عليك يا من اختار الله أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء. فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي قد أذنت لك. فدخل معهم تحت الكساء. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. وقلت عليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عمي رسول الله. وقلت نعم ها هو ما ولديك تحت الكساء. وأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء. قال له عليك السلام يا أخي ويا وسي وخليفتي وصاحب لوالي قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء. ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا عبداه يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء. قال عليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بدعتي قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء. فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرفي الكساء وأومى بيدي اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وقاستي وحامتي لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدوا لمن عاداهم محب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم. فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم وأذهب عنكم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. وقال الله عز وجل: يا ملائكتي ويا سكان السماوات إني ما خلقت السماء مبنية ولا أرضا مركية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. وقال أمين جبرائيل: يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ وقال عز وجل: اللهم أهل بيت النبوة ومعبر الرسالات هم فاطمة وأبوها وبحلها وبنوها. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. فقال جبرائيل: يا ربي أتأذن لي أن أحبط الأرض ليكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله: نعم قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله. العلي الأعلى يقربك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك: وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت السماء مبنية ولا أرضا مركية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم، وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام: يا أمين وحي الله إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء فقال لأبي: إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول: إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
فقال لي أبي: يا رسول الله أخبرني ما جنوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله: والذي بعثني بالحق النبي واصطفاني بالرسالة النجية ما ذكر قبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيخنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم ملائكتي واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي عليه السلام: إذا والله فزنا وفاز أشيرتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله: يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق النبي واصطفاني بالرسالة النجية ما ذكر قبرنا هذا في محفل من محارب أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيه محموما إلا وفرج الله حما ولا مغموما إلا وكشف الله غما ولا تعلق حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجة. فقال علي عليه السلام: إذا والله فزنا سعدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
पहले ये मान ले कि हैं मुश्किल कुशा फिर देख तेरे वास्ते کہتے ہیں کیا ٹل جاتی ہے ہماری تو ساری مصیبتیں، ہم جب کبھی خلوص سے کہتے ہیں یا جب کٹ گئے دریا پہ علمدار کے بازو، شانوں سے جدا ہو گئے جرار کے بازو، جب کٹ گئے دریا پہ علمدار کے بازو، شانوں سے جدا ہو گئے جرار کے بازو، ریتی پہ گرے شاہ کے غم خار کے بازو، تھرانے لگے سید ابرار کے بازو، رنگ اڑ گیا تصویر علم ہو گئے شبیر، صدمہ یہ ہوا ذوف سے خم ہو گئے شبیر، صدمہ یہ ہوا ذوف سے خم ہو گئے شبیر، اکبر سے کہا کر دو گریباں میرا پارا، ہم سوگ میں ہیں قتل ہوا شیر ہمارا، عاشق میرے بچوں کا زمانے سے سدھارا، فرما کہ یہ حضرت نے امامے کو اتارا، آفت میں پسی پانی کی محتاج سکینہ، بس ہو گئی دنیا میں یتیم آج سکینہ، بس ہو گئی دنیا میں یتیم آج سکینہ، حضرت کو سنبھالے ہوئے دریا پہ جو لائے، عباس علمدار سے سکتے نظر آئے، اکبر نے کٹے ہاتھ تڑپتے ہوئے پائے، بھائی کو خدا بھائی کا لاشا نہ دکھائے، جھکنے جو لگی کا کہ غش کر گئے شبیر، ثابت علی اکبر پہ ہوا مر گئے شبیر، ثابت علی اکبر پہ ہوا مر گئے شبیر، غش میں یہ سخن سن کے پکارے شہزیشا، یہ کس کی صدا ہے میں اس آواز کے قربا، اکبر نے کہا کب سے تڑپتے ہیں چچا جان، مل لیجئے کہ عباس کوئی دم کے ہیں مہمان، پھر ہو نہ سکا ذاب امام ازلی سے، لپٹے شہدی لاش عباس علی سے، لپٹے شہدی لاش عباس علی سے، یہ کہتے ہی حضرت پہ جو ریقت ہوئی تاری، عباس علمدار کرا ہے کئی باری، اٹکا جو دم آنکھوں میں تو آنسو ہوئے جاری، تن رہ گیا اور روح سوئے خود سدھاری، چلا کے جو شہروئے تو گھبرائی سکینہ، نکلا تھا دم ان کا کہ نکل آئی سکینہ، نکلا تھا دم ان کا کہ نکل آئی سکینہ، میت سے لپٹنے کو جو وہ دوڑ کے آئی، حضرت نے ابا بھائی کے چہرے پہ اڑائی، چلائی سکینہ کے دہائی ہے دہائی، ریتی پہ علمدار نے یہ شکل دکھائی، تھرانے لگے لاشیں سقائے سکینہ، آنے لگی لاشیں سے صدا ہائے سکینہ، آنے لگی لاشیں سے صدا ہائے سکینہ، جب کٹ گئے دریا پہ علمدار کے بازو، بڑھے گا سوال کیسے لکھوں حسین پہ کیا کیا گزر گئی، کیسے لکھوں حسین پہ کیا کیا گزر گئی، بالی سکینہ قید تھی زندہ میں مر گئی، کیسے لکھوں حسین، سب قید ہوئے گھر لٹا، اسباب جل گیا، سب قید ہوئے گھر لٹا، اسباب جل گیا، بھائی بہن پہ کیسی قیامت گزر گئی، کیسے لکھوں حسین پہ کیا کیا گزر گئی، زینب سر حسین سے کہتی تھی بار بار، زینب سر حسین سے کہتی تھی بار بار، بھیا تمہارے پہلے بہن کیوں نہ مر گئی، کیسے لکھوں حسین، عباس کے بازو کٹے نہر فرات پر، عباس کے بازو کٹے نہر فرات پر، پیاسی سکینہ آس میں پانی کے مر گئی، کیسے لکھوں حسین ایک شور اٹھا خیموں میں ماتم ہوا بپا ایک شور اٹھا خیموں میں ماتم ہوا بپا ظالم کی سینہ سینہ اکبر میں گڑ گئی کیسے لکھوں حسین پہ کیا کیا گزر گئی پامال کیا گھوڑوں نے قاسم کی لاش کو پامال کیا گھوڑوں نے قاسم کی لاش کو ایک رات کی دلہن پہ قیامت گزر گئی کیسے لکھوں حسین نے کیا کیا گزر گئی سلام دیگر صلوات
سلام اس پر جو قیدی بھی ہے بیمار بھی ہے پاؤں میں آب لے ہیں آبلوں میں خار بھی ہے ہو سلام اس پر ہواؤں سے کہہ دو مدینے میں جاوے مدینے میں جا کے نبی کو جگا کے نبی کو جگا کر یہ حالت سنا دے حسین بے کفن ہے خون میں نہائے نبی نے سنا کربلا کا جو منظر جو تشریف لائے دیکھا وہ محشر دیکھا وہ محشر ہے سورج گہن میں فلک خوں بہائے حسین بے کفن ہے خون میں نہائے اے چاند بادلوں میں تو چہرہ چھپا دے کلیجے میں اکبر کو بھالا نہ دیکھے بھالا نہ دیکھے نبی لاش اکبر پہ رونے کو آئے حسین بے کفن ہے خون میں نہائے ستاروں تم اپنی چمک کو بجھا دو کھلے سر ہے زینب چہرہ چھپا دو چہرہ چھپا دو محمد کے گھر کو ستم گھر جلائے حسین بے کفن ہے خون میں
نہائے علی کو خبر دو کہ مقتل میں آئے یہ چاند ہاشمی ہے بازو کٹائے بازو کٹائے علم خاک سے آ کے مولا اٹھائے حسین بے کفن ہے خون میں نہائے کہو فاطمہ سے بقیے سے آئے 72 کفن اپنے ہمراہ لائے شہیدوں کے لاشوں کو آکے گرائے حسین بے کفن ہے خون میں نہائے یہ آندھی چلی اور خون برستا کھلے سر ہے آتی فاطمہ زہرا نجف سے علی بھی تشریف لائے حسین بے کفن ہے خون میں نہائے ہواؤں سے کہہ دو مدینے میں جاوے مدینے میں جا کے نبی کو جگا کر یہ حالت سنا دے حسین بے کفن ہے خون میں نہائے
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبو القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين قال عنهم الرسول اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم إنهم مني وأنا منهم فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا اللهم صل على محمد أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المحكم وخطابه المتقن وقوله أحسن بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وعد الله الذين آمنوا منكم وعملوا الصالحات ليستخلفنهم في الأرض كما استخلف الذين من قبلهم وليمكننهم دينهم الذي ارتضى لهم وليبدلنهم من بعد خوفهم أمنا يعبدونني لا يشركون بي شيئا صلوات على
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
The congregation, the assembly, the get together is in the love of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. It is our expression of love to the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wassalam, and the least that we can do in these days of azab. We express gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us such leaders the leaders for whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created this universe. The leaders who are the most perfect leaders to lead mankind towards future. Even the Holy Prophet of Islam expressed his gratitude. We have a hadith, Qudsi. We have a hadith, I beg your pardon, from, not hadith al-Qudsi, a riwayat from Ibn Abbas, and a riwayat from one of the companions of the Holy Prophet of Islam, which says that once the Holy Prophet of Islam was seated in the mosque, and after his salat of Dhuhr and Asr, the Holy Prophet of Islam behaved in a peculiar way. It is understood in the jurisprudential laws that Qawlul Rasul, Fi'lul Rasul, Taqreerul Rasul, which means everything said by the Holy Prophet of Islam, everything performed by the Holy Prophet of Islam, and everywhere the Holy Prophet of Islam remained silent. That normally by the lawmakers or the jurists is taken as an evidence to derive any law from the action of the Holy Prophet of Islam. It is said that the Holy Prophet of Islam finished his Dhuhr and Asr prayers, and he started performing sajda one after the other, and after the fourth or fifth sajda he sat down. This companion went to the Holy Prophet of Islam and said, Ya Rasulullah, is there another revelation that you have received? Is it something that you are doing that we are not aware of? The Holy Prophet of Islam said, no. Atani Jibreel anillahi azza wa jal. Jibreel came to me from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وقال لي, and he said to me, إن الله يحب عليا. He said to me that Allah loves Ali ibn Abi Talib. فسجدت. I immediately prostrated in gratitude for the love of Allah for Ali ibn Abi Talib. ثم جلست, and I sat down. فقال لي إن الله يحب فاطمة. He said to me, Allah loves Fatima. فسجدت, so I went back into sajda to express my gratitude for his love towards Fatima. ثم جلست, and then I sat down. فقال لي جبريل إن الله يحب الحسن. He said he loves Hassan, so I expressed my gratitude. ثم جلست, then I sat down. وقال لي إن الله يحب الحسين. He then said to me, Allah loves Hussein. فسجدت ثم جلست, and I prostrated before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in expression of my gratitude for his love for Hussein. And then the Holy Prophet paused. The companion said to me, Ya Rasulullah, you performed sajda 5 times. You've mentioned 4. He says, فَأَتَانِ جِبْرَئِيلُ وَقَالَ لِجِبْرَئِيل came to me and said to me, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ مَنْ أَحَبَّهُ. Allah loves all those who love these personalities, and I expressed my gratitude to Allah by prostration. So our gathering is in response to the verse of Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to the Holy Prophet of Islam, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. Say that I do not seek any recompense for the troubles that I have taken in delivering the message of Allah to you. إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. All I need from you is to show and express love towards my near and dear ones. Our gatherings
محمد وآل محمد صلوات.
Our gatherings, our get-together, our attendance in the Imam Bargah, in the mosques, is our expression of love towards the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, and the least that we can do. The verse of Quran that I have recited before you talks about a vision charted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran for mankind. And it is a vision that He Himself has placed in Quran for you and I to strive towards. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَعَدَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ. Allah makes a promise, a covenant. وَعَدَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ, to those who believe amongst you. وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, and those who are doers of good deeds. He promises you, لَيَسْتَخْلِفَنَّهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ كَمَا اسْتَخْلَفَ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ, that He will one day establish you on earth in authority and grant you authority, just like He granted to the people before you. وَلَيُمَكِّنَنَّهُمْ دِينَهُمُ الَّذِي ارْتَضَى لَهُمْ, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it possible for them to follow the way of life that He has chosen for them and He has approved for them. وَلَيُبَدِّلَنَّهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ خَوْفِهِمْ أَمْنًا, and He also makes a promise that He will change the state of affairs of the people, where there shall be security and peace, and there shall be no fear whatsoever. وَلَيُبَدِّلَنَّهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ خَوْفِهِمْ أَمْنًا, the state of this society will be so beautiful. يَعْبُدُونَنِي, all that will happen will be, they will all worship me. وَلَا يُشْرِكُونَ بِي شَيْئًا, and there shall be no shirk and association with the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is a vision that Allah shows to you and I. It is a vision in Quran. It is a vision towards which we strive. It is a vision where we need to get. And it is a vision that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed in Quran. And it is a vision that we share with other religions. When a Jehovah's Witness comes and knocks at the door on Sunday morning, there is one message that they give you. The first attractive message is that there shall come a day when the lamb and the lion shall drink from the same well. That is the message that they give you when they knock at the door. So we share this vision with the rest of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where each and every one wants to feel that sense of peace and security, where each and every one of us wants to eradicate fear from within ourselves, where each and every one of us is wanting to worship none but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that day has been promised. Many a time speakers and scholars refer to this particular verse with the advent or the coming of Imam Zaman, Ajjalallahu ta'ala. And they say that this will be the case when Imam alayhi salatu wasalam will make his appearance, and the state of the society is going to be such that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has explained in the Quran. The question, however, is this just going to happen by a click of a finger? Is it just going to be, or do I have in my mind the notion that one day there will be an announcement of the appearance of Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, and Imam will make his appearance on that particular day, for instance Saturday, the 31st of January, that he is going to make his appearance at 6 o'clock, and we are all there, and suddenly from that point onwards there will be nothing but peace and security. Is that what our notion is? Is that what we believe in? Oh, indeed no. In fact, it will be that state before he arrives. But that state is supposed to be achieved by you and I collectively. We need to arrive at that station or at that vision where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to lead us. It is not just because one day Imam is going to come and we have a notion that the moment he arrives, everything is going to be, in slang language, hunky-dory. It is not hunky-dory by the arrival of Imam alayhi salatu wasalam. You and I and all together have to understand our responsibilities in arriving at that state of utopia or the state of ideal world that we want to get to. It is not just one day that it is going to happen. But for that, my fellow brothers, you and I need to understand the purpose of our creation. We need to understand the fundamental responsibility that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed in us. We need to understand the status quo, the time in which we live. We need to understand the history of the people of the past. We need to understand our present, because without understanding the history of the people of the past, without knowing the status quo, there is no wise man who will be able to drive the community or the intellect of the people towards a particular destination. We need to study everything together to know how to take a step and how to drive the ummah and the community towards the direction that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing to you and I. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib, the wasiyat that he writes to his son Imam Hassan, he says to him, I have read the history of the people of the past. Ka'anni, I found myself, I read it so much, I studied the history of the people of the past so much that I counted myself as though I lived with one of those people. And I studied them, and I am looking at the status quo today. And then he says to his son, my son, having studied the past and having studied the present, I have chosen and selected the best tools for you and for your salvation for the future, so that you are able to guide yourself and guide the intellect of the ummah towards that particular direction. The problem, my fellow brothers and sisters, is if we do not address these issues and we start addressing them in the thoughts of the past, then we will never be able to take any step forward. We need to understand our thought process. We need to understand our intellectual capability. We need to know that the man of authority or the creation of authority is none but insan. We need to understand that this intellect of ours, the moment it remains in stagnation, the moment it does not function to its full potential, there is a detrimental consequence that will face this intellect. My problem is that this intellect of mine tells me that I want to arrive heaven, or I want to achieve heaven, or I want to seek release from the fire of hell. That is where I direct my intellectual capacity. I feel that I want to achieve the heaven, and I want to be able to enter Hur, the domain of the Hur. Allama Iqbal, when he was trying to raise the intellectual capacity of the people of his day and his time and his era, he says, "Qahr to ye hai ke kafir ko mile hur o qusur." The limit and the irony is that this kafir in this world is enjoying hur in this world. Hur, do you want me to translate hur? You know what hur is. So Allama Iqbal says, "Qahr to ye hai," that the irony is that in this world, kafir is enjoying hur as well as qusur, palaces and mansions. He is enjoying it in this world. Or bechare Musalman ko faqat wa'da hai hur. And the poor Muslim is being given a promise of a hur. This is the state of the Muslim. That in this world, the enjoyment is all for kafir. He has the hur and he has the qusur. And bechare Musalman ko faqat wa'da hai hur. And this Muslim is only getting the promise of a hur. Or another place, Allama Iqbal beautifully talks about this case, and he challenges Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his shikwa, where he says to Allah, he says, "Tere Kabe ko jabino se sajaya humne." Your Kaaba was beautified by or was given honor by my forehead. "Tere Kabe ko jabino se sajaya humne, tere Quran ko sino se lagaya humne." फिर भी हमसे ये गिला है कि वफादार नहीं. My Lord, do you still complain that I am not loyal to you? I have done everything for you. What is it that I expect from you? Was it my understanding of Islam that I know today, or was it the Islam that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent? In Jawab al-Shikwa, in one of the poems, Allama Iqbal very beautifully, extremely beautifully says, "Waise qaum mein wo shola maqali na rahi." The speakers of the community today do not have that heat in their speech. They do not, "Waise qaum mein wo shola maqali na rahi, Naqshbandi na rahi, pukhta khayali na rahi." There is no more broad thinking, it's all narrow. Reh gayi rasme azan, ruh bilali na rahi. What is left today that you and I see in our days and age, what is left is the tradition and the ritual of adhan, but the soul and the ruh of Bilal is missing. Reh gayi rasme azan, ruh bilali na rahi, falsafa reh gaya, talqeen Ghazali na rahi. The philosophy of Ghazali is there, but the teachings of Ghazali are missing from within us. My mind tells me, this intellectual mind, or the 21st century mind of mine, which has been refined, or I claim that it is refined, it believes that achieving heaven or entering the paradise is my ultimate goal, or seeking release from the fire of hell is my ultimate goal. If that is the goal, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a wasila to arrive at that goal, then my fellow brothers, Allah cannot be a wasila. He has to be the ultimate goal himself. But I use Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a wasila, as a means to arrive at a destination that I want to get. That Allah cannot be Allah. That Lord cannot be Lord, who is not the ultimate desire of this man who has been created by him. Therefore, we need to understand our responsibility. Let me give you one example. If I was to draw a pyramid in front of you and show you in this pyramid, if you can imagine a pyramid in your mind, and in this pyramid you will find at the bottom level, you will see inanimate objects known as jamadat. The inanimate objects occupy space. They have no potential of growth, no potential of movement. They only occupy space. If you look at the mountain today, it's occupying space. It has no potential of growth, no freedom of movement. It is there. These are known as jamadat. Inanimate objects. They are just there occupying space. If you go one level up in the pyramid, you come to the world of vegetation. You see that they occupy space. A plant, a tree that you see in front of you, it occupies space. It has no real potential of growth. All it is a function for the survival of the earth or inanimate objects. It is there to give service, and it has no further function whatsoever. It occupies space. It has no potential of real growth, and it is restricted to movement. You go one step up in the pyramid and you come to the world of animals. In the animals you will see that they occupy space. There is no potential of growth whatsoever in animals. And they are free to move. There is freedom of movement. At the top of this pyramid, at the peak, stays insan. That's why a poet says, I think it is Allama Iqbal, he says, "Tu shahi hai, basera kar pahadon ki chatanon par." You are an eagle, you shoot up there. It is not for you to come down on earth. Tu shahi hai, basera kar pahadon ki chatanon par. That is the level Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed man in, at the top. Occupying space, full potential of growth that can exceed any limits whatsoever, has the possibility through his intellect to analyze anything placed before him, has the possibility to synthesize anything placed before him, has the potential of traveling from the known unto the unknown, and has the potential from traveling from the unknown into the known, has freedom of movement, has authority given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, just to stimulate our minds for a second only, And it is not a true example that I give you probably, but it is an example that I want to place before you, just for the stimulating of my own mind. If I was to give you a piece of paper and write heaven on it, heaven, Jannat, paradise, whatever word you want to use, write on that piece of paper, small piece of paper. And in that pyramid, if I was to ask you to place, where would you place Jannat in this pyramid? I don't know the answer, but you will probably know the answer where you would place Jannah. At the end of the day, inanimate objects are makhlooq of Allah, creations of Allah. The world of vegetation is a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The kingdom of animals is a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Insan is a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Heaven is a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hell, everything, this world and beyond, anything that you and I see or can grasp with our intellect and our mind and our subconscious level or conscious level, whatever it may be, is all the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in all the creation of Allah, the best of it is insan. How can insan desire something that is lower in status than him? Why does insan desire something which in status is lower than him? That is the philosophy that needs to be understood for you and I to strive to move towards the direction where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to get. In Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and please carry on desiring heaven. I am not telling you not to desire, but the concept of heaven will change when you think by the question that I have presented before you. Your level of understanding in terms of what Jannat is will change completely if you think, how can I desire something? That is why Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib, very famous statement of his, addressing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with full authority and full audacity, and says to Allah, Ma abadtuka khawfan min narik. I did not worship you because of the fear of the fire of your hell. وَلَا طَمْعًا لِجَنَّتِكَ. Nor did I worship you because I have any desire for your heavens. No. بَلْ وَجَدْتُكَ أَهْلًا لِلْعِبَادَةِ فَعَبَدْتُكَ. I consider you worthy of worship. That is why I worship. That was Amirul Mu'mineen. Ilahi anta kama urid. What a statement. I think it is a miraculous statement. I think it is a statement full of power. And this statement requires further understanding of the intellectual level of Imam, and I don't think we will even achieve it. However, the question that Imam, or the statement of Imam, and this cannot be delivered by any ordinary man. Ilahi, my Lord, anta kama urid. You are exactly the way I wanted you to be. What a statement. What an audacity of Imam alayhi salatu wasalam. You are exactly the way I wanted you to be. And now after submission, فَجْعَلْنِي كَمَا تُرِيدُ. You make me the way you want me to become. I seek assistance from you. So this intellect of mine needs to understand what is the real purpose of Allah placing me in this world. And how do I arrive at the destination where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to take me? How do I get out of this shell in which I am, in my quest for achieving that objective for which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created me? In Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the creation of man. He talks that I am going to create Adam. The angels have an unfavorable retort towards the creation of Adam. Nevertheless, Allah creates Adam by saying, Inni a'lamu ma la ta'lamun. I know what you know not about this man. The story moves on. In the creation of Adam, it arrives where there is a test between the angels and man, between the angels and Adam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches certain names to Adam, and then He teaches the same names to the angels. And then He asks the angels, and He examines them, and He gives them a test. and they fail. Adam passes the test. You will read this all in Surah Al-Baqarah. Then it moves on. Adam is now, or the scene, if you like, is Allah is now showing us bliss. Adam is there, Hawa is there. Both of them are there in the world or in the paradise, in that Jannah, enjoying. Suddenly Allah now begins something and provokes Adam. He says to Adam, Ya Adam uskun anta wa zawjuka al-jannah. Adam, listen, you and your wife both live in this Jannah. This Jannah is yours. He drives Adam towards a particular point, a particular area. He says, Ya Adam, uskun anta wa zawjuka al-jannah. Adam, you and your wife, it's important to have a wife. Payam Azmi says, Chaman araye gulistane wafa hai aurat, barbate ishq o muhabbat ki sada hai aurat, आदमी के लिए इनाम खुदा है औरत, दर्द तन्हाई आदम की दवा है औरत, रह के इस खाक में फिरदौस का गम भूल गए, था जो हवा का सहारा तो इरम भूल गए. Because he had Hawa with him, he forgot paradise, he forgot heaven. So now you have another idea of what heaven can be. But that's not what I am saying. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now talks to Adam and says to Adam, Ya Adam, uskun anta wa zawjuka al-jannah. Adam, you and your wife live in this Jannah. وَكُلَا مِنْهَا رَغَدًا حَيْثُ شِئْتُمَا, and eat whatever you want in abundance. All this is for you. The fruits are for you. The trees are for you. Everything in paradise that you can imagine you and I are going to find was present before Adam. And Allah is telling Adam, Adam, enjoy whatever it may be. Take, this is all yours. I have created it for you, Adam. And then suddenly Allah throws a punchline. And He says, enjoy. وَلَا تَقْرَبَ هَذِهِ الشَّجَرَةِ. Don't approach this tree. فَتَكُونَا مِنَ الظَّالِمِينَ. Otherwise you will be from amongst the transgressed. It's not fair, is it? Enjoy everything and suddenly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if I was to tell you, brothers, go out there is a spiritual master who has told me, right down there, 6 foot, 1 step east, 2 step north, start digging 5 foot down, and there is a treasure. Not an ordinary treasure, a treasure which will give you anything and everything you want in this world. It is all yours. Every desire of yours is in this treasure. Open it, and it is yours. 5 foot down, and you will find the treasure. But while you start walking away, I tell you, brother, just 1 second. While you are digging, don't think of a monkey. You will, at the time of digging, you will think of nothing but a monkey. Because I have driven you to think of a monkey. Psychologically, I have messed you up already. And therefore, as soon as you begin digging, no matter which monkey it may be, you will start thinking about all the monkeys in this world. Just because you are not supposed to think about it. Because I have driven you towards it. Allah is telling Adam, enjoy. Don't approach this tree. My Lord, why did you have to tell Adam this? If you had not told him, he would never have realized that there was a tree there. Amongst millions of trees. So we start thinking now, why did Allah do this to Adam? Why? Then you realize that heaven was not a place for Adam to live in. The kamal and the perfection of Adam was in being inquisitive, and through his intellect achieve the state of bliss, which will be called heaven for him. To achieve a unity with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For that should be the ultimate goal of a man, and not the goal of being able to achieve something material. And therefore He drove Adam out of heaven by driving him towards this tree and said, Adam, you have a potential of growth and perfection. Adam, move and use this intellect of yours. Inquire until you reach the truth. And there shall come a time when you will be able to achieve that state of truth and haqq, and you will be able to know, once you have achieved the unity with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is nothing that will make sense to you except to get more and more drowned in the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is where I need to get. That is what my aim should be. That is what I need to understand. Let me give you one more example, and then inshallah I will take your permission to leave. I have been tuned, programmed from childhood in my mind to think within the box. I have been told by my teachers in the madrasa to think about certain things. And therefore, my mind and my intellect is accustomed to what I have been directed towards. I have not given that example for no reason. I have given that example for a particular reason. The way my teachers, my parents, my community, my leaders have told me to move, I have moved exactly towards their teachings, their guidance. They were the beacons of light for me. So I am told now that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Qahhar, that He is very forceful. He is Jabbar. He is extremely forceful. If I did not drink milk at home, and I'm giving you these small examples which can be developed into whatever examples that you like. If you do not drink milk, Allah will put you in the fire of hell. If you watch this program, you will go to the fire of hell. If you do this, the fire of hell is waiting for you. If you do that, you will burn in fire. From my childhood, this was being shot at me 24/7, to the extent that my view and my perception of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that He is extremely awesome. And now the problem is, everything as we evolve is changing. The word awesome means something else nowadays. Awesome is A-W-E, which means Jaho, Hasham, which means powerful, which means haybat. Oh, I only know Him as an awesome Lord because I have never visited His mercy. Because I have never seen what mercy of Allah means. So I have now been, when I think about Allah, I think of Him as someone who is extremely powerful. If I don't go on Ashura in the mosque, I'm going to have a problem. If I don't do this, Allah is going to punish me big time. And this is my mind. There's a book, if you get a chance to read, take it from the libraries, read. It is written by a Jewish rabbi who writes a book about a small child who is suffering from a particular disease, in which at a very young age he becomes old. I don't know what the disease is, something is called. Progeny, yes. That is a disease in which the small child becomes a very old man at a very young age. Anyway, he talks about in this book, the name of the book is When Bad Things Happen to Good People. Read about this book, read the reasonings of the minds of the people when they understand Allah in the perception that they have. Let me talk about myself. I read the book in the morning. I have not brushed my teeth. I have woken up for my salat. I now want to pray my namaz. I finish my salat early in the morning. And then I am told to say, Bismillahi wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa alih. وأفوض أمري إلى الله إن الله بصير بالعباد فوقاه الله سيئات ما مكروا لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. There is no Lord but you. I am the one who is the wrongdoer. I am the one who is unjust to myself. As you move forward, as this dua progresses, you come to a point where it says, MashaAllah, La MashaAnnas. Only that today, as I leave home, as I go on the road, only that will happen that Allah wills. None of that will happen that man wills. This is what I will say early in the morning. MashaAllah, La MashaAnnas. MashaAllah, wa in kariha an-nas. Only that will happen today, that Allah wishes, even if people dislike. Why? Because Hasbi al-Rabbu min al-Marbubin. My Lord is enough for me. Hasbi al-Khaliqu min al-Makhluqin. My Creator is enough for me. Hasbi al-Raziqu min al-Marzuqin. My Sustainer is enough for me. Hasbi Allah Rabbul Alameen. My Allah is enough for me, the Lord of the universe. I have said this with full audacity, with full confidence in me. Nothing is going to happen to me today, huh? I've said it in the morning before I brush my teeth. Now I prepare myself, sit in the car and start to move. I now know nothing is going to happen to me. For I have said this with my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. MashaAllah, la masha'an-nas. MashaAllah, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-ali al-azim. Only that will happen because there is no might or power that can be equal to the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, He is my Lord, I leave home. This is my intellect now. The moment I hit the road, and God forbid a black cat crosses the road. God forbid. It is no more MashaAllah. It is now what the cat wishes and not what Allah wishes. And this is where my intellect starts to question itself. Where have I come from? What am I doing? It's a black cat, a creation of Allah, a very lower creation than myself. I have authority, I have power. Jinn has no power, but my mind has told me Jinn is more powerful than you. A black jinn, a white jinn, a woman jinn, a red jinn. Allah knows what type of jinns we think about without realizing that they have no authority. The level that Allah has given to you and to you and I. Man with his lofty station is the best of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation. But he has restricted himself to a thought process which has left him in stagnation and does not allow him to move forward. The other day in Jummah khutbah, I gave an example and I said that sometimes it's good to observe things. When you go to houses where they have fish tanks, you see beautiful fish. They say when you look at them, it is very relaxing to look at the aquarium and the beautiful picture in the aquarium and the colorful fish in the aquarium. It's wonderful to see. It's relaxing. People sit there in front of the aquarium, the sofa, and enjoy and fall asleep. But observe things inside there. You will see that there are only two options that the fish has. The moment it hits the wall, the glass wall, so whatever the size of the fish, the moment it reaches the glass wall, it has only two options. It either remains there at the glass, or it has no other option but to return back to its old ways, old path, old everything. Have you seen it? Have you noticed it? Yeah. At the same time, this fish can see the world beyond, outside. A huge world, bigger than itself. A world that it cannot even imagine or fathom in its own mind. But it cannot do anything about it. Because this wall becomes a barrier between it and the outside world. My fellow brothers, this glass wall has been erected by ourselves in front of our eyes. There is a world beyond. There is a world which is more bigger, more powerful, offers more. But I have created this wall which I have the ability to break and move. But I don't do it myself because I'm accustomed to a particular type of thinking. Aba Abdullah al-Hussein salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. And the event of Karbala is a lesson for you and I. Where Imam alayhi salatu wasalam addresses the people, and listen to these words, how powerful they are, and what a time to deliver, and the timings of Imam. He looks at the people on the day of Ashura and listen to what he says to them. He says, Ya Shi'ata ala Abi Sufyan, O the followers of the progeny of Abu Sufyan, in lam yakun lakum deena وَكُنْتُمْ لَا تَخَافُونَ الْمَعَادِ. If you do not have a religion, or you do not subscribe to any religion, and you do not have a fear of the day of judgment, I understand that perfectly well. All I am asking you is, if you do not have a religion, and you are not scared, وَكُنْتُمْ لَا تَخَافُونَ الْمَعَادِ فَكُونُوا أَحْرَارًا فِي دُنْيَاكُمْ. The least you can do is be free in this world, and think independently, without being shackled by the influences of the people. What a message to be delivered by Imam on the day of Ashura. Think independently, move towards a particular direction and an area. So when you and I think about the creation of man and the lofty status that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to man, we need to understand the capacity that I have and what my responsibility are. Surely my responsibility is not to just live, to have a wife, have 4, 5, 2, 3, whatever nowadays the trend is, children, and then move forward, have a house, have a business, have a perfect life. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Comes a time when mu'mineen will say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Go inside. Surely that's not my life. Surely that's not what I have been brought for. Other than because the animals share this part with me. The animals also have children, they also eat, they also drink, they also make a dwelling for themselves. They have a social life as well, the animals. Within themselves they have a social life of their own. But surely this is not the purpose for which I was created. The purpose of creation, as far as I am concerned, is way, way, way beyond what I think in my mind. And Imam alayhi salatu wasalam is explaining this to us in every aspect. These great leaders of ours, the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, have guided us towards all these aspects, except that we have understood it in the interpretations that we have made of them. Of course, it is important for me to say that any interpretation or any theory that is presented before you, whether it is mine or any theory that comes, the interpretation can never be final. There is a law of finality. You can never reach, any interpretation cannot be final. It can be developed upon, it can be subscribed to, it can be thought about, but no interpretation in this universe, contextual interpretation, whether Quran, Hadith, Sunnah, can never be considered final. Indeed, however, the logic tells us, the common sense tells us, the thought process tells us, this is logic and this is not logic. This we can understand, this we cannot understand. And then study it objectively to be able to arrive at the conclusion or at the destination where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be. It was Hussein ibn Ali who played two roles in Karbala. Imam alayhi salatu wasalam played two roles in Karbala. He played the role of being a human being, as you and I were. In Karbala, Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, when Hur fell from the horse and he called upon Imam Hussein, he said, Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah adrikni. He called upon him. Imam as a friend, Imam as a leader. No, Imam as a human being went there, sat with him and cried and expressed sorrow. Human being, that was the role of being a human being that Imam alayhi salatu wasalam was fulfilling. When his brother's son Qasim fell from the horse, and when that body was trampled under the hooves of the horses, when the body was mutilated, Imam alayhi salatu wasalam rose from the tent and went into Qasim. You know, they say that every shaheed, if you read Maqtal, they will say every martyr who died in Karbala and who fell from the horse called upon Imam Hussein. Hur said, Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Habib ibn Madahir said, Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. When Ali Akbar fell, he did not say Adrikni, although he called his father, but he did not say Adrikni. All he said, Wa Amma alayka minni salam, Wa Awata alayka minni salam. Oh my father, salams upon you. Every shaheed who fell called upon the Imam, once only. They say when Qasim fell from the horse, he did not call upon Imam once. He continuously kept, Wa Ammah adrikni, Wa Ammah adrikni, Wa Ammah adrikni, Wa Ammah adrikni. Those who have analyzed this say that why was Qasim calling Imam so many times? It was because every time a horse's hoof hit any part of his body, every time when the horse hit any section of his body, he immediately felt the pain and said, Wa Amma adrikni, oh my uncle, come. When Qasim fell, Imam was fulfilling the role of humanity. He looked at Qasim and it was his brother's son. He looked at him and said, my son Qasim, what have these people done to you? He wept bitterly, he cried, he stood up. When he lifted the arms of Abbas, he cried as a brother. When he went to the body of Ali Akbar, he cried and wept as a brother. But when he needed to show the state and the strength of his imamat, he took Ali Asghar in his arms. He took Rabab with him. He buried Ali Asghar. He covered the body. He then stood up, removing the dust from his clothes. He then looked towards the sky and said, my Lord, if you had demanded more than this from Hussein, Hussein was willing to give it for you. That was Abu Abdullah alayhi salatu wasalam fulfilling the role of imamat. But how difficult it must be. You know, they say that when Mukhtar was taking revenge and was capturing the killers and the criminals of Karbala and was punishing them, it was a habit of Mukhtar that he used to call upon one messenger and deliver the message to Imam Zain al-Abidin in Medina to say that such and such a criminal was arrested and was punished, and this was the punishment meted out to him. And that messenger used to go to Medina and then disclose to Imam Zain al-Abidin. Every time a messenger came to Medina and said, Yabna Rasulullah so and so has been captured and also punished by Mukhtar, he used to say Alhamdulillah, and then he used to ask, have they been able to capture Hurmula yet? He used to ask this question, have they been able to capture Hurmula? You know why? Because the crime committed by Hurmula in Karbala was a crime that could not have been committed by anyone. Allahu Akbar. Hurmula threw a 3-headed arrow at the 6-month-old son of Hussein, Ali Asghar. And not only did he hit, they say that Hurmula, whenever he tried, he never missed his target. When the first time he missed his target, and the second time he missed his target, they came to him, Umar ibn Sa'ad came to him and said, Hurmula, I have never known you to miss a target. You are normally accurate in every time you strike a target. This time I see that you have missed 2 arrows. What is the problem with you? Hurmula says to Umar ibn Sa'ad, why don't you come here where I stand and see when I aim the arrow at Ali Asghar, there is some lady that comes out of the tent and I feel that there could be no one except the mother of Ali Asghar. But no, Hussein was playing the role of Imam. He was playing the role that was not an ordinary role. He took Ali Asghar after his neck was already wounded with a 3-headed arrow. He started taking Ali Asghar back to the tent. But suddenly something happened to Imam. He stopped and took a few steps backwards. And then again he walked towards the tent. And again he took a few steps backwards. I would ask my master, what is it that is stopping you from going to the tent? Possibly the answer would be that it was easy to present Ali Asghar as a sacrifice and offering before Allah. But it is not easy for me to take this child and show the child to the mother. Yet Imam alayhi salatu wasalam entered inside the house in the tent. And then he held Ali Asghar in his arms. And then he called upon Zainab and said, Zainab, can you hold on to Rabab as I bring Ali Asghar? Zainab holds on to Rabab. Ali Asghar is brought. Imam removes his abba from Ali Asghar. The mother looks at Ali Asghar and says, Bunayya, mithluka yurham. Oh my child, a small child like you is killed the way they have killed you. And then she shrieks and faints when she gets up, when she regains her consciousness. Imam alayhi salatu wasalam takes Rabab with him and says, Rabab, why don't you hold on to Ali Asghar? What mother could have done what Rabab has done? He says, can you hold on to Ali Asghar? Rabab held on to Ali Asghar. Imam stood up and said, Rabab, follow me. They went behind the tent. Imam took a dagger in his hands and started digging a small grave. Suddenly, and Rabab was holding Ali Asghar in her hands. Suddenly, as he was digging a grave, Imam looked towards the Furat and said, Abbas. He called upon Abbas. I will say, my master, you've just lifted his arms. You just collected his arms. You've just bade farewell to Abbas. Why are you calling upon Abbas? But when I read history, I saw that when the Holy Prophet of Islam's son Ibrahim died, he called upon Ali ibn Abi Talib and said, Oh Ali, can you please arrange for the funeral of my son Ibrahim, because it is very difficult for a father to bury his own son. Ali ibn Abi Talib arranged for the funeral. Hussein is now looking at the Furat and says, Abbas. Perhaps he wanted to say, Abbas, look at Hussein today. I am digging the grave of my own son, and I am going to bury my own son. Rabab is holding on to Ali Asghar. Hussein is digging a grave. I will ask the heavens, oh the heavens, have you ever seen a mother holding the boy, the baby, and the father digging a grave?
إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. إلهي بحق الزهراء وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها وسر المستودع فيها، اللهم ارزقنا في الدنيا زيارة الحسين وفي الآخرة شفاعة الحسين، واحشرنا يوم القيامة مع الحسين وأولاد الحسين وأصحاب الحسين مات الحسين.
يا حسين 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 يا حسين. بوند پانی نہیں بھیا نہ ہوا آتی ہے، بوند پانی نہیں بھیا نہ ہوا آتی ہے، بوند پانی نہیں بھیا نہ ہوا آتی ہے، بوند پانی نہیں بھیا نہ ہوا آتی ہے. اب بھی زندہ سے سکینہ کی، اب بھی زندہ سے سکینہ کی صدا آتی ہے، بوند پانی نہیں بھیا نہ ہوا آتی ہے، بوند پانی نہیں بھیا نہ ہوا آتی ہے، بوند پانی نہیں بھیا نہ ہوا آتی ہے. کان دکھتے ہیں لہو ہوتا ہے زخموں سے رواں، کان دکھتے ہیں لہو ہوتا ہے زخموں سے رواں. یاد جب قید میں ظالم کی، یاد جب قید میں ظالم کی جفا آتی ہے، بوند پانی نہیں بھیا نہ ہوا آتی ہے، بوند پانی نہیں بھیا نہ آتی ہے. ایسا لگتا ہے کہ زندہ کو بھی آرام نہیں، ایسا لگتا ہے کہ زندہ کو بھی آرام نہیں. مجھ کو دیواروں سے رونے کی، مجھ کو دیواروں سے رونے کی صدا آتی ہے بوند پانی نہیں بھیا آتی ہے بوند پانی نہیں بھیا آتی ہے سونا چاہوں بھی جو زندہ کی زمین پر بھیا سونا چاہوں بھی جو زندہ کی زمین پر بھیا نیند کب بابا کے سینے کے نیند کب بابا کے سینے کے سوا آتی ہے بوند پانی نہیں بھیا آتی ہے بوند پانی نہیں بھیا آتی ہے ساتھ بابا ہے نہ ماں ہے اور نہ بھائی نہ چچا ساتھ بابا ہے نہ ماں ہے اور نہ بھائی نہ چچا آئے کس ہاتھ میں بچی پہ آئے کس ہاتھ میں بچی پہ قضا آتی ہے بوند پانی بھیا آتی ہے بوند پانی بھیا آتی ہے آئے بیمار بہن کو نہ کفن دے پائے آئے بیمار بہن کو نہ کفن دے پائے یاد سجاد کو زینب کی یاد سجاد کو زینب کی ردا آتی ہے بوند پانی نہیں بھیا آتی ہے بوند پانی نہیں بھیا آتی ہے کوئی زندہ ہے نہ تنہا ہو سکینہ کی طرح کوئی زندہ ہے نہ تنہا ہو سکینہ کی طرح یہی جواد کے ہونٹوں پہ یہی جواد کے ہونٹوں پہ دعا آتی ہے بوند پانی بھیا آتی ہے بوند پانی بھیا آتی ہے اب بھی زندہ سے سکینہ کی اب بھی زندہ سے سکینہ کی صدا آتی ہے بوند پانی بھیا آتی ہے بوند پانی بھیا آتی ہے آتی ہے بوند پانی میرے غازی کہاں ہو جاگیر سے چل پڑا قافلہ میرے غازی کہاں ہو تجھ کو دیکھے بنا چین آتا نہیں نوکے نیزہ پہ سر تیرا ملتا نہیں میں زیارت کروں کس طرح یہ بتا میرے غازی کہاں ہو تیری جاگیر سے چل پڑا قافلہ میرے غازی کہاں ہو تیری بازو مجھے راستے ملے میں نے چادر سمجھ کر وہ سر پر رکھے بازو سے تیرا پوچھتی ہے پتا میرے غازی کہاں ہو تیری جاگیر سے چل پڑا قافلہ میرے غازی کہاں ہو تیری بازو مجھے راستے میں ملے میں نے چادر سمجھ کر وہ سر پر رکھے بازو سے تیرا پوچھتی ہوں پتا میرے غازی کہاں ہو تیری جاگیر سے बचपन में लोरी सुनाई तुझे, मैंने चलना सिखाया था भाई तुझे, राह पुर खार पर मुझको चलना सिखा मेरे गाजी कहाँ हो, तेरी जागीर से चल पड़ा काफिला, मेरे गाजी कहाँ हो, जो बने मुर्तज़ा वो हुए सास हूँ, बेरिदा बीबी हूँ कि मैं अब्बास हूँ, तुम मेरी आस थे ए मेरे बाबा, मेरे गाजी कहाँ हो, तेरी जागीर से चल पड़ा काफिला, मेरे गाजी कहाँ हो, या हुसैन 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 या हुसैन
या हुसैन
या हुसैन या हुसैन,
बोला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन, बोला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन या हुसैन
या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन,
वो आबिदे बीमार था, वो आबिदे बीमार था, चलने से वो लाचार था, चलने से वो लाचार था, और शाम का बाजार था, और मुस्तफा की बेटियां, मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन, मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन
या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन,
शबीर की वो लाडली, शबीर की वो लाडली, सीने पे जो शाखे पली, सीने पे जो शाखे पली, जिसकी अबा बनने जली, मुंह पे तमाचों के निशान, मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन, मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन
या हुसैन,
प्यासे गले खंजर चले, प्यासे गले खंजर चले, चादर चुनी खेमे जले, चादर चुनी खेमे चले, अब्बास के परचम तले रोकर कहे ये बीबिया,
मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन, मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन,
रोकर कहे कासिम की माँ, रोकर कहे कासिम की माँ, मारा गया कासिम जवां, मारा गया कासिम जवां, ए लाल में ढूंढूं कहाँ, मैं तेरी सेहरा कहाँ, मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन, मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन या हुसैन
या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन,
वो अस्करे बेशीर था, वो अस्करे बेशीर था, और फरमला का तीर था, और फरमला का तीर था, प्यासा गला क्यों करकटा, जलती जमीन और आसमां,
मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन, मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन,
शामे गरीब छा गई,
शामे गरीब छा गई,
आप खो गए रत खा गई, आप
खो गए रत खा गई,
फेरे पे ज़ैनब आ गई, अब्बास और अकबर कहाँ,
मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन, मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन 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 مولانا يا حسين مولانا يا حسين مولانا يا حسين مولانا يا حسين مولانا يا حسين
السلام عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله. السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله والأرواح التي حلت بفنائك وأنا خبر رحلك. عليكم جميعا سلام الله عبدا ما بكيت وبكي الليل والنهار ولا جعل الله آخر عهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين خصوصا سيدي ومولاي أبو الفضل عباس وأختك زينب جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا شمس الشموس وأنيس النفوس أيها المنفون من أرض توس أرز المجتبى مولانا ومولى الكونين السلطان الحسن مولى علي بن موسى الرزاق. كن شفيعنا وشفيع والدينا في يوم الجزاء. وفقنا الله لزيارتك يا مولاي ورزقنا الله شفاعتك في الدنيا والآخرة. والصلاة والسلام على آبائك الطاهرين وأبنائك المأسومين وعلى أختك فاطمة مأسومة جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا حجة الله يا ابن الحسن يا صاحب الزمان. أحسن الله لك الأداء في جدك الحسين كتل. السلام عليك يا عين الله في خلقي. السلام عليك يا صراط الله. السلام عليك يا سفينة النجاة. فأزفني وأجرني صلواتك وعلى أهل بيتك الطيبين الطاهرين. عجل الله لك ما وعدك من النصر وزهور الأمر ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقاعدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. Hazir Mehfil, would you please be kind enough to recite Surah Fatiha from our home Hadi Imam Zaidi, son of Askar Hassan Zaidi, Marhuma Qamar Fatima, widow of late اتدار حسين رزقي كل أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات ثواب الفاتحة. يا الفاتحة في البلاء وكزاي الحوائج.